Welcome to the Don't Call Me Midlife podcast.
Hi, Nicole. How
I'm
are
good.
you?
How are you?
Good. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. I love our Thursdays.
I love Thursday. It makes me so happy. I love recording. And then, question, this is random. Do you listen to our episodes every Thursday too?
I do. Yeah.
We text about it, don't we?
I listen to it.
Because we don't get to hear them before.
No, but we can actually. But I just don't. I know there's just something about like the day it drops. And
Yeah.
I do. I love it. And, you know, sometimes we pre-record and I'm like, gosh, I don't even remember Alix saying that. Or I don't remember my response to that.
Yes.
Or sometimes,
Yeah.
like, I know my response, like when you ask a question, I'm like, I think in my head, like, this is what I would say. And this is actually what I said. Does that make sense?
Yes. No, I love it. Good. Well, I am super excited to tell you what's in my cup today.
Tell me.
Okay, so it's not actually my cup.
Okay.
So I don't know if your kids do this, but ordering DoorDash is like a big thing here for like middle schoolers and high schoolers,
Yes.
right? Like ordering food. It is crazy. My middle son, the other day, he ordered a drink.
Mhm.
He ordered a big gulp, Nicole. Like the guy is delivering it. I'm coming
From
here. and I'm
7-Eleven?
like, oh no, that's not. Yes. The guy is delivering it and I'm like, oh, no, that's not us. I think you have the wrong person. And Walker walks out and he gets the big gulp. I'm like, I don't even know where 7-Eleven is.
Right.
And I explained to him, you know, you're probably paying $10 for that. And he has a debit card. And so anything like food wise that I don't approve, he pays for it himself. So this weekend, it was Saturday. And he said, I said, do you want some lunch? And he said, no, I'm just going to order, Starbucks or Dunkin'.
Mhm.
And I'm like, why are you going to order that? We've talked about this. And he's like, well, I want a fun drink.
Mhm.
And I was like, hold the phone, Walker. I can make you a fun drink. And he's like, okay. So I go downstairs and I see an empty Dunkin's cup. So I do take the Dunkin' Donuts cup. I fill it with ice and I put in a sparkling icy. I don't know if you have those. It was a lemonade one that I have. I love those. It's like a low.
Oh, I've seen them.
Drink,
Yes.
They're like tall and thin bottles.
Uh-huh.
And then I muddled some fresh raspberries. I thought that was fancy. I put in a little bit of grenadine, right?
I mean, that sounds delicious.
And I brought it up in the cup and the straw. It's like the whole thing. And I was like, this is sort of genius. If I just went to Dunkin' or Starbucks and got some of their clear cups with a straw, and then it feels like it's like us when we go to Starbucks, right? Like it's nice to have the cup and all that.
Yeah.
So I was super proud of myself. And he's like, wow, Mom, this is really good. So
this is before school?
It's not in my
cup? Or was it on a Saturday?
No. This is on a weekend.
Okay.
This is on a weekend. So that's not in my cup, but that's my little advice to save the $10 on the big gulp or whatever drinks that these kids are buying. I think they'd also be healthier making them at home too. So I was sort of going to look up a couple fun things this week to have like a fun drink. So that was a long-winded answer to my question of what's in my cup. My cup is just coffee right now. It is just coffee. So that is not in my cup.
Well, you should go the extra effort and make one for yourself.
Yeah, it's a little sweet for me.
Yeah.
But I do like the ices. But what is in your cup?
Ooh, I have excitement in my cup.
Ooh.
Yep. I'm so excited because I'm going to see you next week.
Yay!
For those of you that like maybe are new here and don't know, Alix and I have never met in person, but we're like virtual besties. We have a business together and we have so much in common. And I just think that this little meet and greet that we're going to have is just going to take our friendship to the next level. And I am just so damn excited to see you. And like,
I'm so excited.
Yeah. I mean,
and for those who don't know, Nicole lives in Colorado. So my family and I are on vacation in Colorado. And so we're going to stay a couple extra days. And you're going to meet my husband and my two younger kids too, because they're going to drive me to you.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to meet them all.
Oh my God. In the flesh.
Yes, I can't wait.
Oh my gosh.
Is Alix a hugger? Your husband? Like, would it be?
He's a hugger to me.
Would it be weird if I was like,
no,
hey?
yes, he's a hugger. Yes. No, he's a likes to be hugged. Yes, he loves to give hugs. And so I'm glad about this. And I think this episode that we're going to talk about is very appropriate to us meeting as well.
Yes.
Because we had we had a survey go out in our newsletter a couple weeks ago. So thank you all for filling that out.
Thank you.
And someone asked us about how to maintain friendships when we're all so freaking busy, right? And I think that's something that everyone can relate to. And so we're excited about talking about this. We're going to talk a little bit how Nicole and I, how our friendships have evolved over the years, and then really dive deep into how do we maintain these friendships, right? Because we're just getting busier and busier, and I believe you have to see friends and talk to friends and have that relationship, right? Even if you've had a past history, I think in my vows, my wedding vows with Alix, it was that I get 2 girls trips at least a year. So my female friendships are one of the most important thing to me. I view my friends as like, honestly, the family, like friends that are family, that are sisters to me. So I know for both of us, it's
me too.
One of the most important things in our life. So let's dive in. I'm so excited.
Yes. I mean, saying that, if I didn't have some of my female friendships, I would just feel lost and just have an emptiness or a void. And I have told my closest and dearest friend that you are my soulmate. Like yes, my husband is also my soulmate, but like truly, like she just gets me. And I don't know what I would do without her. We had like a little brief stint where I think we've only had one fight. And it wasn't even really a fight. I think it was maybe a misunderstanding, miscommunication. I mean, we were in our early 20s, and it was just something that happened, and we just stopped talking. And I mean, it didn't last that long. I remember I called her. I was so upset about it. We both were in Michigan, and she had moved to New York, and I missed out on a lot of things. I mean, truly it was my fault, and I knew it. And one day I was just like thinking about it, and I was just sobbing, and I called her and I left her a message, and I'm like, I can't live without you. I miss you so much. And then she called me back, and oh my gosh, this was, what am I, 46? I think this was more than 20 something years ago. And like, I'm getting teary-eyed thinking about it.
Oh, so it was when you were young.
Yeah.
It was when you were younger this happened. Okay,
we were very young. I mean, I think 20, 21, 22, something like that.
Oh, well, that's when stuff like that goes down, right?
Yeah. But like, I knew I couldn't live without her. So I was just like, I called her, and obviously we had moved past it. We rekindled.
I think you rekindled. I think I remember I had a miscommunication with one of my friend a couple years ago. And one thing, as an aside, what I love about being in this age is that same thing. I realized, like, I can't not have you in my life. We didn't stop talking, but we talked about it, right? And I think sometimes right now we're going through with our hormones or our kids, or, all the things that we're going through. We may be more sensitive to some things that our friends are saying to us than other times, right? So I think we look at friendships a little bit differently of, maybe she's reacting that way because she's going through a harder time or XYZ, So we had this talk. And she knows who this is, so she's listening. And it was amazing. It was like our friendship grew like tenfold because of that one little conversation of, well, I'm feeling this way, and I didn't interpret it that way. And it was pretty awesome. Yeah. But I generally do not like tension with friendships, or I don't know, it makes me feel I'm not like a conflict avoider. But it like wears on me, right?
Well, like, sometimes when you're in those relationships, you just think they're naturally going to get better, and sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. But avoiding is not the answer. And when you communicate with your friend, it definitely, I mean, there's a chance it could go one of two ways. It could like cause more tension, but typically, if you have that solid foundation, that base, you will see the other person's side, they'll see your side, and then you'll come closer, and maybe you'll be more aware of how you're talking with your friend or acting. I had a really hard month in January, and my friend was like, "Are you okay? I haven't really talked to you. Like, what is going on with you? Like, that's not like you." And I'm like, I'm just in it. I'm just in it with my kid. And I'm just like, I just can't, And so sometimes you have to carry the friendship. But when you're both starting to drift, it's really, up to both of you to come back together for sure during the
Well,
summer.
it's also, I think checking in with friends at this age, right? Because what you're saying, and I know that January was harder for you. And I think if you haven't heard from someone in a while, it's like check in with them, right? Because they may be knee deep in their family or their kid or their husband or their own, self journey.
Yeah.
So I think it's just checking in with our friends is really, really important during this time. If you haven't heard from someone. I love what you said about soulmates. And I used to think, Nicole, for the longest time that I needed a soulmate friend, female friendship, the person that was exactly like me. And that's how I viewed soulmates, right? That was my definition. Someone that like literally we thought the same way. And I think as I've gotten older, it's like almost the opposite, right?
Yeah.
I don't want someone that's my best friend that's just like me. She'd probably annoy me. So I think my soulmate friends, we're similar, same morals and values, and but we're different. And I think that is what soulmate friends are about.
Yes.
Like that quote about like bringing out the best in you. And I love that. I love that so much.
Yeah. I mean, I think you and I are same but different, and I think we balance each other out. And when I think about my really close friends, it's same but different. I think I need a friend that's like a little bit more like the planner, the doer, like, and I'm just like the go with the flow friend. Like there's always that one friend, right? Like I feel like you are let's do X, Y, and Z. Meet me here. I'm like, I'm here. What do you need me to do?
Wait, it's like that reel you sent me that was like, there are two groups of two kinds of friends. The ones that plan the trip and the ones that Venmo.
Oh, yes.
Venmo you for the trip.
I'm the Venmo friend.
I'm the planner. You're the Venmo friend, right?
Yes.
So that is totally good. Right. We are similar in so many ways, but the way we approach things is a little bit different. And I also sometimes need friends that will call you out on your stuff, not in a bad way, but sort of like, do you need a little TLC, right? Or did you look at it from this perspective, right? And, that's a very special friend that can do that because you don't want to feel like, oh, am I not doing something? It's almost like when your mom says it, you're like, oh no, I don't think so. But when a friend says something like
you're
that.
You're like, oh, you take note.
I like really listen actually.
Yeah.
So how do you think friendships have evolved from when we were younger, say 20, 30, you and I are in our late 40s now. How has that happened for you with your female friendships? How have they changed, like evolved?
Well, with my friends that I have maintained throughout the decades, I think
decades, oh God.
I think when we were in our 20s, we were just doing everything together. We were just experiencing life together. We studied together. We had we were going to college at the same time. We made sure that like we were going on double dates all the time. Everything was together, even like maybe like a Target run. Everything was together. Like, what are you doing on Saturday? Let's go to the mall. I remember calling my friend and being like, hey, I have $200. Let's just get in the car, drive to Chicago. Like, I mean,
I love that. I love that.
So, but like, as we get older, I mean, I'm not living life like that with friends now. Did you want me to go through the decade?
No, I think you're right about the 20s.
Yeah.
I think we were growing up together, right?
For sure.
For those that went to college, we were just like testing boundaries, testing life. Like, what do we want? And, dreaming big, right? Because the world was like in front of us. We weren't married yet. We didn't want to get married. We were, dating probably lots of guys and we had a lot more freedom then. So having those friendships from college, for me, were really influential. I moved in 8th grade. So high school for me was, you know, a little bit harder to make friends. My mom's like, you're fine. We moved in 8th grade. But so college for me was really, I feel like, a time when I found my people, I guess, you know, when people say that term. I joined a sorority early, and we really we grew up together. And those are some of my best friends, my ride or dies now, that have known me since I was 18 years old, which is sort of weird.
I know, isn't it crazy? It'd be like, you knew me when I was a teenager.
Before my husband, right? Like, I'm coming up on my 25th college reunion. You probably are too.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? I mean, it's not like I feel like I'm 21, but 25, like that's a lot to go through, a lot of life during that time. So the 20s were fun. We were just like loving it. We probably had lots of acquaintances during that time because we'd go out. We'd
lots
go
of
to
big
clubs.
groups.
We'd, you know, lots of big group things, right? Meeting lots of random guys, probably.
Yes.
But
having lots of fun.
really holding dear to those friends too. So what happened in our 30s? What do you think? Or when did you get married?
I was 30. I think I was exactly 30.
Okay.
Yeah. 2007. I was 30.
I was 27. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I think the 30s were different because you were building a different life for yourself. You know, you were, but like my close friends were all starting to move. So it was a little bit different maybe for me than a lot of people, I guess. I don't know. So it was just Jerry and I just doing our thing. We were traveling a lot together. I went back to school to get my master's a little bit later. Just focusing on ourselves and our new families, and then building our own family, and starting to, like, you know, have the mortgage and the Sunday night family dinners. And it was just being a shift. Responsibility. Yeah. And so
responsibility.
Yeah. And then other friends having babies and just navigating that. I mean, it was very different from the 20s.
It was like our friendships were really built upon, probably, I feel like friendships in my 30s were built upon my kids, right? Like going through the kid stuff together. That's where I met. I have a group of 6 of us that are best friends that I travel a lot with. And we call each other the fave friends.
The what friends? Fave?
The fave friends. Okay. Yeah. And we don't live in the same town or anything. They're still the ones that we're super close, like sisters. And a lot of those friendships blossomed because our kids were the same age, right? So we would do like park dates and soccer together. And it was a lot of my friendships were based upon my kids, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
In my 30s.
Yes. Yeah. I was just thinking of like the friends that I had in my 20s and how it transitioned into the 30s. But I think like I could go to my like close friends from my 20s and tell them like deep personal things and what I was struggling with.
Yes.
But the new friends that I made in my 30s were definitely based on kids' ages. A lot of park dates, a lot of I did a lot of gym dates too. Like you drop the kids off at preschool and you would go like do a class together, maybe grab a smoothie afterwards, and then we'd go pick up our kids. So
that's cute.
Yeah. For sure. Or like a quick coffee date. Like it's between the morning, like wake up, and the mid-afternoon, like nap, and you go and you have like a little coffee and the kids have snacks, and then you go back home and like you do your thing and they sleep. But yeah, and I definitely, I have some girlfriends that I'm still friends with, and I just adore them. And they're just a different group, you know, than the 20s group.
Right. Yeah. It's that transition. Right. It's that transition period. I remember the first time that someone asked me to go for coffee, like as a friend date. And I was like, this is so weird. Like, why wouldn't we go out to dinner and go drinking?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, that transition in your 30s of like you're saying, like, let's go do an exercise class. Let's go take a walk. Let's have coffee. And having sort of more of that daytime while our kids were like at school or, you know, it was built upon their schedules. Right. I felt like in my 30s, though, I could go out more at night because my kids went to bed earlier.
Yes.
And it was so much easier to get a sitter when they're like 5, normally when the babysitters would come, like we would already put them to bed. So I don't even know if the sitters would meet my kids because they would all be in bed already.
Especially when they were little.
Right?
Yeah. But like when they're a little bit older, like you could just order pizza or whatever, and just here, and then they go to bed at 7. Like, don't call me. They're fine. Like, it was maybe easier back then. I definitely went out a lot more in the evening when they were younger. Like we had a Thursday evening, like a standing girls' night on Thursday evenings.
Yeah.
And like weekends, Saturdays for sure, we always went out. It was just, I booked the babysitters in advance. And I don't know, I'm finding that the older they get, the less like they don't want a babysitter. Like, yes, I need one for my 10-year-old, but the older two, like sometimes when I have somebody come, I'm like, just ignore them. Like, you don't need to.
Right.
It's like, it's a weird thing, but, I don't know. I'm just more tired in the evenings now. And plus right now there's like tutors and sports and I don't even know what, some carpooling. It's just always happening. And then
at night, you mean?
Yeah.
So, right.
And this
like a lot
stage,
of times in this stage that we're in right now, oh, for sure. In our 40s, I think, I do. If I want to see a friend, it's typically during the day, right? When my kids are at school. And my weekends, because I think we're in this stage, I know I am, where I'm like, oh gosh, like counting down the minutes almost until they go to college. So I do want to spend time with them, although they don't necessarily always want to hang with me on Saturday night. But they need to be driven a place or they want friends over. And I'm definitely not leaving my kids home alone. So it's a lot more like home time and sort of doing that sort of stuff. And so that I also feel like in your 40s, I don't know if this was me, like in my 30s with the kiddos, it was like I would talk about kid stuff, but I sort of also wanted to be seeming like everything is good, right?
Oh, yeah.
I wouldn't really
the Pinterest mom
ever like it's not perfect, right. So your 30s are more, and I think that's also just a woman thing anyways, which we've talked about before, just maintaining like everything's good, like I'm not going to say anything bad, like where in your 40s I feel like all the crap comes out. I'm like, whoa, how have we not talked about this for the past 15 years?
This isn't a new feeling. It's got to come out.
I'm like, this is awesome. Yeah. Like we've all got stuff going on, whether it's with us, whether it's with our kiddos. Like you go from like, as a mom, I tell younger moms, you go from being physically exhausted to mentally exhausted, right?
Yes.
And this is the tough stuff.
Sister, preach.
I feel in the past couple years that I don't know what I would do if I didn't have friends, right? Because there's certain stuff with Alix that like, I'm not going to talk to him about hormones or this or that, it's just a little bit different that I don't think for the past 5 years, I would have survived without my female friends. And like, I love to see where it's going. We laugh, we cry, we dance, it's pretty powerful.
Yes.
Right.
I love it. There's nothing like it. Nothing. I mean, yes, I love connecting with my husband and like going away, but it's almost like when your friendships in your 40s, like it's almost going back a little bit into your 20s, right? Where you can just kind of like, when you're with your friends, it's just, yes, you can have your deep moments, but you can just be yourself and be silly. And like, I'll like, I don't know. There's just a level of like energy and excitement with friends, and relatability that isn't there with my husband.
And appreciating that time where you can see people in person, right?
Yes.
It was funny. I said to my husband a couple weeks ago, if I'm ever like in a funk or going through something, I'm like, can you text this person? Right? That's the type of friends we have now, right? Like it's going to be something where I know you probably can't get me out of it, right? But if I need like a friend to fly here, like real quick, if I'm going through something, this is who you're going to text. I'm like, I give you permission to text her.
Yeah. I give you permission to text her.
And I told her, right. Because, Alix knows me better than anybody. Yeah. So he would know, it was, so I love that. I think also, appreciating the time that you do have, but also the little stuff matters, right? Like how many times, well, you and I are probably over communicators, but we are typical of that quote that's like, you know, you have a best friend if you have like different conversations in different spots, because you and I will often have a DM going, we'll have a text going.
Yes.
I've got a couple of friend groups that are like that.
And we're on the phone.
Like very funny.
Yeah.
And we're on the phone.
Yes.
And, you know, but it's those little things that matter right now, right? Like maybe you are just slammed, but
you're so freaking busy that you're
so freaking busy.
So freaking busy.
Yeah.
So what do you do when you're so freaking busy? To maintain a friendship, do you ever feel?
I am an over communicator.
No, you're really good about like keeping in contact. Like I got a notebook from you like a couple weeks ago with a note, and I do. You like send notes and postcards, and I love it, and I think it's beautiful. And now that we're talking about it, sometimes I feel bad because I can't always reciprocate in the same way, but you know what? I think that maybe I don't need to. Maybe just...
I don't think you need to, because I feel cared for as a friend from you, just so you know.
Thank you.
I think because you send me all the funny reels, right? Yeah. Or the sweet reels where I'm like crying. Yeah. So I think at this age, like for me, my love language is gift giving, is note giving, is, you know, that type of stuff. And I think, you know, for people, it's like, well, I can't do that. I think at this age, it's like, but what can you do, right? Like, how do you, maybe it's like an emoji that you send a friend or whatever, right?
I like to send little video texts. Not a video text, like a little video.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
We need more of that. Nicole did send me one a couple weeks ago, and literally I saw it and I was so happy. So if anyone listening, if you like want to make someone's day, send a little video text, right? Because seeing people's faces is so powerful, and you don't have to look good. It doesn't matter. Do it first thing in the morning. I think that's an awesome way to do that. I think at our age, you know, when we're so freaking busy, it's you have to prioritize your friendships, right? And that doesn't mean being friends with a million people. And I think, you know, COVID was a blessing and a curse in that way, that I think as we get older, also you and I've talked about, your circles get a little tighter, right? And, for sure. and that's okay. That is okay. I always say, you know, for my kids, even everyone needs one friend. If you have one friend that is your go-to, you are winning. You are winning. Yes. And you have so I think it's making those friendships a priority. And I think for people, you know, maybe that are feeling that, you know, maybe you set up a monthly standing date with a group of girls that you like, whether it's a coffee or a dinner. I did an ad hoc sort of coffee date at my friend's house last Friday morning, and it was awesome. It was just like an hour of us just chatting. So maybe setting up something like that, or grabbing a yoga class and bringing someone, or you know, if you're out there and you're listening and you're really feeling like you're missing, you know, that friendship time, setting up a time when you know that you're going to see someone on a monthly basis, I think is important.
Yes, but just know that, like, to have a friend, you have to be a friend. And sometimes that's hard. And sometimes you just don't even know where to begin. I feel like I've moved around my entire life. So I feel like for me, I know what I have to do. Like, I have to like slowly work it up. Like if I meet somebody and it's just starting a little conversation. Like if you are the type of person that like doesn't even have a friend and you're like, I don't even know how to make a friend. You know, you just slowly, like maybe you start on social media, you know, and you reach out and you talk, and then somehow you get their phone number and you just start texting, and then just like, hey, I'm going to go on a walk. Do you have any interest? Like you're going to have to put yourself out there. And then I do feel like that also applies to maintaining friendships. Like, you know, no matter how busy you are, whether you just send an emoji or a text or a video, just you're going to have to let that person know that you're thinking of them. Like maybe it's not the right time to get together, or maybe you're like going through some sort of depression. You just have to like schedule something. Like it will be good for you, your soul, your friendships. But you're going to have to put in that little bit of extra effort just to maintain that. And whether that's like even a sibling, it doesn't even have to be a friend, like any relationship. You just,
I was thinking about that, even like family members, you know, to have friends, you have to be a friend, you have to show up. I'm a big person of like just showing up authentically and whatever you can give. Cause I know a lot of moms our age, their kids are like seniors. And I've heard senior year of high school, I'm like dreading it, is horrible, right? In the sense of you're feeling a lot of emotion because your kid is leaving next year. So you want like every single moment with that kid. So I a lot of my friends that are a couple years older say this to me. And that's what I mean by the season of life, right? If you have a friend that, you know, is really focusing on their family right now, there's probably a reason for that. So sometimes those friendships are you're giving with not a ton in return. And that's okay for right now. Like
it can't be one-sided all the time.
No. And sometimes, you know, even if try to maintain the friendships of if that person lives far away, maybe setting up a time where you can do a Zoom date or you guys enjoy a cup of coffee together or just have that time where you can actually have a good 45-minute conversation, because that's going to tide you over. I just had one of these last week with my friends from college, and it was like such a good conversation. And it just, you know, we are just the same friends as we've always been. So it's nice in that respect.
Yes, I agree. But sometimes when you've gone the stretch and then you know, like, oh my gosh, we really need to talk. We really need to connect. But you're like, I don't have 45 minutes to talk, you know? You can just start out the conversation being like, oh my gosh, I miss you so much. I wanted to hear your voice. I literally only have like 5, maybe 10 minutes. And then it like sets the tone because I have been in that situation where I've seen the phone and this person is calling and I'm like, oh my God, it's been so long. But like, like you just don't want to be rude.
There are friends that, right. Like I could call you for 5 minutes. I'm sort of clear about that with people. Like, I'm like, I've got 5 minutes. I just want to say hi. You know what I do is, you know, I love Google. What is the thing? Oh, Google Notes. And Google Keep, right? So I keep, okay, this is like a silly thing. I'm remembering now that I do this. I keep an ongoing list of people that I need to call. Right. So when I'm in my car, that's usually when I'll call people.
Same.
And I have a list of people when I just need to remind me, because I can't remember anything unless it's written down, is that people that I want to touch base with. So when I'm in my car and I feel like, you know, just talking to someone, I will keep that. So I think that's a good little tip too, right? Like just keep it in your car, a list of people that you want to. I have a friend that keeps it on a Post-it in her car. And I think that's a great idea.
There's no like shame in it. And it's not like, oh, I got to call this person. Let me put on a Post-it note. Like, no, like you genuinely want to call them. And if you're dreading calling a person every single time, maybe you just need to reevaluate.
Yes, I don't have people that I dread on my list.
Why?
There are people.
Maybe some family members.
Maybe, Well, I mean, I call my mom like every day. She's like, "Are you in the car?" I'm like, "I am."
My mom knows what I'm.
Yeah, and you have your like go-to people for sure. I also think when someone says, "How do we maintain friendships when we're so freaking busy?" This is also a season to give yourself grace, right? Yeah. And you know, we are in this really, really busy time, and our focus right now isn't our female friends, but sometimes it just can't be because we don't have as much time, right, as we once did. So it's maybe reevaluating. Honestly, it sounds, you know, who you actually want to spend your time with, right? Because our time is limited, and thinking about, okay, who are the people that fill my bucket that I want to spend time with? I also wanted to say one thing that I was talking to one of my friends from college about is the 24-hour trip, right? We may not have time right now to go away for a weekend because our kids have sports and the weekends almost are hard to get away. But I was talking to my girlfriends from college. What about if we went away on a Monday night and came back on a Tuesday night, right? Like it's if you're close where you can fly there. Just doing a 24-hour getaway.
That's good.
One of my best friends came for my cookbook signing, right, from Chicago, Kelly, and she was here for 24 hours. But that filled my bucket up, and hers, hopefully. You know, and so we talk about the 24-hour getaway. I think that's what we should try to do if you can get there and do like a 24-hour getaway.
I love that idea. want to make some phone calls to friends. My friends are going to be like, I need more than 24 hours, but like, if you can't,
but if that's all you can get, right? Maybe this isn't the season where we're going away for 3 nights or 4 nights, it's just, it may not be that season for you.
Yeah. Well, I love that.
The other thing I was thinking, Nicole, would be a good idea is, making friends. If you're someone that's feeling like that, grab a friend and maybe do like a new hobby, right? Like go to a cooking class or go to a museum or doing something, right? Pickleball, right? You're going to find people we like people that like the same things as us. And it's easier to maintain a friendship. Like, I have a friend that I play tennis with every Wednesday. Thinking about this opportunity to maybe try something new, and you'll find some people that are similar. So.
Yeah. And it's like a built-in date that you don't even have to schedule. Like it's already on the books. Yeah.
Right.
And then if you have time afterwards, you can like maybe go to coffee and lunch, and maybe you can invite another friend. So stack it up.
But I think, giving ourselves this grace that maybe we may not always feel like we're being the best friend, but that is okay. Do not judge yourself by anyone else, what they're doing. Be the type of friend that you can be and own that. And that's going to be the best friend.
Yeah. And try not to take it personal and be hard on yourself. Yeah.
Yes.
Grace.
And just give me your address and I'll send you a card.
They're the best.
Or a postcard. I think it's so easy to send postcards. When I travel, I do like to get postcards, and that is a great time to send them to friends because you don't have to write a lot. But I normally will find I'll send you fashion ones from London or wherever I was.
I love it.
And I think doing that, finding little postcards when you travel is awesome to send to friends. Is so good. So
yes, I love it. That should be your unsolicited advice.
I have lots of unsolicited advice for this one. Is it that time?
It is.
It's our unsolicited advice time, I think. Okay, you go first because I have a couple things in my mind. So tell us. I did love this conversation today. It made me excited, filled my bucket, and think of some people that I do want to reach out to. So what would be your advice in terms of maintaining friendships, or at this age?
What I think you should do is, after you listen to our podcast and subscribe to our newsletter.
Yes, we have lots of good info in there. Be our friend.
Be our friend. I really think you should think about maybe a couple close friends and just go and send a video message and just record yourself and say, hey, I miss you. I'm thinking of you. I hope you have a good day. It doesn't have to be elaborate. Or, snap a picture of your favorite something that you guys do together. Like if you guys both have a love for chips and guac and you have avocados, and you just be like, oh my God, I saw these and I thought of our last dinner date. When are you free? Just go out and make the effort. How about you, Alex?
Mine's similar. I think I'm big into this stage of don't miss an opportunity to tell someone how you feel about them, right? Yeah. Oh, this may make me cry. Sorry.
No,
so
don't apologize.
I think that's
I love it.
I think that's important. I think we don't do that enough, and it doesn't have to be a big thing. I mean, our advice is sort of similar, but there's so many women that are my friends that inspire me, and I tell them that. I try to really tell people that why I love them, what I love about them, and focusing on all the good things, because everyone does have a lot of stuff going on, right now at this age in your 40s and 50s, and that is okay. But just don't miss that opportunity, like you're saying, to tell them what their friendship means to you, yes. And be the type of friend that you want to be. And that doesn't mean sending notes or whatever. Find your way to show people that you care about them. And that may be sending a funny reel, right? Yes. We appreciate those reels. That may be, and that's their love language, right? So
I love your big, beautiful heart, Alex. Yeah, I do. I think you're so
I did not think I was going to cry in this episode.
Me either. Right. But here we are. Let's just...
Here we are. And, I think this is long solicited advice, but, you can have friends that your kids are not friends with, right? I had one of my closest friends in Massachusetts tell me when my kids were in preschool, and our kids don't interact or whatever. And she's one of my closest friends. That's like, choose your friends based on you, right? Not necessarily your children. So I think that's an opportunity actually right now to think about your friendships, reevaluate, make sure you're with the people that are bringing you up, that are bringing the best out of you, because not everyone does. Like, and it's okay.
It's okay to walk away.
You don't have to spend you don't have to spend time with people that don't fill you up. So it's maybe also the advice is reevaluating your friendships and thinking of those people that you're just not like casual friends because your kids are friends. Like, who are the people that are going to, I think about this a lot, Nicole, who are the friends that are going to stay once my kids are in college, right? And those friendships are okay, right? Like, you can have those friends, like, that's awesome. But the people that are really like taking pieces of your heart and pieces of your time that you really want to invest in that, maybe that takes some evaluation.
Yeah. I love that. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love you, Alix.
Well, yeah, send me your address. I'll send you a note.
Send me your text. Send me your number. I'll send you a video chat.
Nicole will text you, and she's amazing at that. And I'll send you a little note. But be kind to yourself, ladies. You are all awesome, and whomever your friends are, they are lucky to have you in your life. So don't forget about that.
And we love you too.
All right. Yep, we love you. Bye.